Hey,
Hi, finally.
yeah, well, it's way early for this.
Well, my computer, let me tell you, my new computer is in the mail. It's coming next week. Because this is ridiculous. I was looking it up and how old this is, and it's like a two dual port and it's supposed to be quad. I don't know, whatever. Core. It's the cores. It's a dual core, not a quad core. So it doesn't run anything, you can
Yeah,
run one thing at a time.
yeah, and we're doing a lot of video now, and that's pushing the limits
Oh,
of
yeah.
tech. So, what did you go with? Did you go with another
Yeah, another Mac.
MacBook Pro? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, they're solid.
All the way. I know. I even got like the extra RAM because
Yeah,
if
I
it
mean,
lasts me 10 more years,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'll need it.
I don't like waiting. Like I feel like the phone is very fast, and when I get on the computer, it has a lag, and if it's like, oh, you're just like, oh, come on, that those nanoseconds add up. So yeah, speed counts.
Yeah, absolutely. So I
Yeah.
talked about shots. Like I don't know what the right I don't know if you want the painting, if the painting's
Oh, that
distracting
looked nice.
worse, or is that
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that looks good. I like that because that creates that door light behind you, kind of creates
better?
almost like a little backlight, which is kind of nice.
I
Yeah,
don't know, but
I'm,
I'm
I'm a
trying
big
to
I'm a big fan of a backlight.
what gives you the
Yeah,
whole kind
that's nice. Yeah, that's good depth too. That gives depth and then a backlight. When a backlight adds that, so you know that. Yeah,
of
yeah, that's a good shot. Yeah, and I
yeah.
like the way you crop the picture just in the corner. Yeah, yeah,
It's not
yeah. That's
too
yeah.
bad.
Nice setup. Yeah, I keep obsessing over my corner over here, and yeah, I'm gonna change it again. And I feel that's part of the thing. I feel like it's like setting up your set. It's gonna take some time, and yeah, and the set change is okay.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I feel like I have a room, I have an idea of another space to that would have an actual table and chair, as opposed to, we're fighting about the couch versus the bedroom or his bedroom or wherever
Yeah,
everybody else
yeah.
is.
No, I get that completely. And I was so much thinking we almost need to look at, I was thinking about vloggers, like looking at vloggers that have those kind of studio setups and looking at more of that style, like, because I feel like I hadn't put any thought into this. Like it was
Okay.
just, yeah, you're just like, I'm going to grab the laptop and do something. But now you're like, okay, well, yeah, my aesthetic is important in that background. Yeah, I want that to be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and when they look great, you're like, oh wow, that one looks so
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. To becoming an extension of our daily view.
Yep.
Well, what I wanted to do is obviously we're recording this whole session was just
Yeah.
to kind of touch, this is the first time we've seen you since we've started school, so just to kind of, we just kind of touch base, check in, and then we can kind of, I've got some bullet points, or I guess questions or hit points from your letter.
Right.
So if you're familiar with your letter or your document that you have, I'm just going to kind of refer you to some of those things, just again, how tips and tricks, how we're going to get through this. But yeah, just, yeah, so we can just kind of start off with just kind of a, good morning. It's almost like coffee with Beth kind of thing. Like we can just, however we want to take this. Yeah. Yeah. Just again, this is a chance for you to kind of address, the squad.
Well, okay.
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah,
Good
well,
morning,
we're
Beth.
talking about, I usually send out a weekly email, and so it's not really the same sort of thing. So, yeah, it's a good idea, Doug.
Well, yeah. Well, together, all of us have come up with some really good ideas. And so, well, what I wanted to do was just to say good morning and yeah, get a chance to talk with you and just really, I guess, to start off, how are we doing? How is digital? I know you guys had a teacher meeting. Yesterday was the first one. How is the first week of digital Bending Oaks been?
So I'm so excited to talk about this. Actually, I think it's been great, and I've been really impressed with how hard everyone's trying. How everyone has jumped in and really approached this with great energy, and I think excitement to get back to things. I think the kids have been really motivated to make this work. So I think that I've seen that in pretty much everybody, and that's been really great. I'm in talking to the teachers yesterday. They all had wonderful things to report. The kids are really engaged. The new schedule works really well. I think everyone feels like it's a proper school day and you have lots of classwork to do, and we're getting a lot accomplished really quickly. And yeah, I think structurally it works really well. Logistically, it works really well. And I think everybody's learning to enjoy the Zoom classes a little more. I know the classes that I've been teaching English classes, that they have been very lively discussions. We've been happy to talk almost the whole period. Like it's 80 minutes, and that's a lot to stay engaged. And so we've touched on a lot of subjects, and we talk a little bit on topic, a little bit off topic. And I think it's getting used to the Zoom meetings and how that feels as a class. And that we can make this work. I mean, I think that's the cool part is it's not a limitation, it's just a context. So, the kids have more going on. They have goals. They have stuff they want to accomplish, and we can do that. It's not that hard. It's just a little bit different than what we've done before, but we still have focus. And everyone still has pretty high expectations too, I think. I think they have high expectations of us as teachers, as well as us having expectations of them as students. That is all still there.
That's been shocking to me, like the 9 o'clock start. I thought through some of this evolution, through this digital adaptation, we would have been like, let's do midday starts, or let's do night school, or some kind of, and it's amazing that everybody is up and at 9 and on and ready to go. And it's like, again, didn't miss a beat. Like it's just what we've done. And that's been so cool to see. I didn't expect that. Again, coming off summer, again, we've had so much time to change your lifestyle and adapt and be at home and Netflix all day. And how are you going to be up at 9 o'clock and ready to do math? And they made that's been shocking for me to watch, just to see how everybody has been like, yeah, up, ready to go. Let's do this. One other cool thing that you touched on through that 80-minute block of Zoom time that sounds daunting was the conversation aspect, which I love. And BendingOaks, to me, my history of BendingOaks, it's always been a safe place. Like you go to BendingOaks and you feel safe. But it wasn't so much about the math and the English. It was about these conversations that you would have with people that you could relate to, and people that you related to in your life. And I think that's cool that you're able to incorporate that into the Zoom. This digital barrier doesn't matter. We're still people. We still have daily issues, and we can talk about those daily issues safely. I think that's so important, safely within our space. And that's so cool that you're able to continue that.
I agree 1,000%. I think that's a huge part of our community, and that, it's important to speak your mind. It's important if you're feeling some emotions about something. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now that is really personal and affecting people personally. And that's something that we as a community are here to be supportive of people who are going through tough stuff. And we want to hear what people have to say. Especially, just people learning to find their voice. This is a place where I'm like, tell it. We all want to hear. Everybody wants to hear. Let's see what that feels like. And here's a safe group of people who are going to receive that and respectfully react to you. And I think what's also great is that the kids are honest in their reactions. And, I think a lot of people are afraid of what their kind of blowback they'll get from it.
Yeah.
And, I think there's a lot of real understanding in the kids here, a lot of empathy. And that's a huge part of our community. God, we want to know who you are, what's going on. And on a daily basis, there's a lot of opportunities to really support that about each other.
Well, that's part of what our conversation was going to be about today, was that just kind of as we adapt to this digital BendingOaks, and we don't have the traditional support of the building. I think mental space is something that I hear a lot about, and mental space not just for students, but for parents, and for this whole kind of educational. It's an educational pocket that's happening inside your home now that used to happen at school. And there's this unique set of challenges that come with that. And I wanted to talk with you a little bit about, how can we, I guess, what do you foresee as some of the, not only what can we expect, but what are some of the challenges that you think we're going to see, or that you've already maybe seen from this?
Sure. So the challenges at home really have to do with the fact that things that used to happen separately are all happening together, right? So there are things that we used to do in the building that we used to handle, completely without anybody else's need to be involved. I mean, we could handle everything that was school related really in the building. And so when the kids are at home and there's, they're not right in front of us, I can't kind of go to a classroom and say, hey, can I talk to you for a second? I'm trying to communicate with people either through chatting or texting or calling on the phone. And that sometimes, a lot of people don't talk on the phone as much as they used to either. So it ends up being a parent that I get in touch with instead of getting a hold of a kid to talk about this stuff. But the thing is that then the family dynamic becomes relevant to the academic performance or, whatever's going on academically. And then how home is, whether a kid is sleeping, whether a kid is, kind of okay or not okay, is kind of different because it impacts the whole group. But when there are issues, really the things that we deal with most of all are kids not coming to Zoom class when it's time to be in Zoom class, sure. 9:00 in the morning, sometimes they're still asleep. And that, God, I can relate. I'm tired too sometimes. And that's something that, most often is probably the thing we're going to contact parents about. We're going to try and contact the kid first. We're going to try and send them a Zoom invite. But that's something that if we're calling a parent, it's usually about that. There's a kid who's not in the Zoom meeting. And, that's the kind of thing that families deal with that differently. The family dynamic at home is different. So you might've been fighting as a parent, you might've been fighting with your kid about waking up forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And it's something that you just aren't going to, you're not going to make you're not going to approach it in the same sort of way if you have a history of it versus if it's the first time that that's ever happened. So every family has a different way of coping with those kinds of things.
So
and
true.
I can't tell anybody how to run that. I can't say you need to go do this to get your kid to class. I can only say, hey, here's the situation. I need your help to handle it or to solve the problem. So that's a really different dynamic that happens with academics now in this situation where we're at home. And that's something that a lot of families are going to have to negotiate within themselves, how they're going to work that out. I recommend even talking about it before it ever happens and saying, hey, let's make a plan.
I love that. The night before conversation. Yeah. Never make decisions at the airport, they say, right? The worst decisions you can ever make are at the airport. No, you got to strategize. So wait for the tempers to cool down, wait for a time. Yeah, that's smart and strategize. I feel like these are going to be, I don't want to belittle the problems, but they're going to be I feel like the same problems repetitively, like you suggested, like it's going to be, I'm going to be tardy for that 9 a.m. class. The reasons why might be different, like I might say I've got some technical problems, or I might have really slept in, or just be disorganized, or I haven't had enough coffee yet to face that. So communication, would you say that's paramount in this, that we have to communicate, that it's so easy that I'm one to silence my phone or to stick it under the pillow and not have to deal with the problem. And I feel like, to me, I think that in doing that passes it off to somebody else. And so I think, do you maybe ownership, so that you don't have to reach out to the parent? That if I know everybody has different, again, sets of challenges, but if we could get that great frontline communication like we've always had at BendingOaks, right? That if you're in the building, you're here. And when that breaks down, then we have to come together as a big family, don't we? And use all of our resources.
Well, it really is a matter of, this is about support. This isn't about trouble. This isn't about punishment. This is like, what's the issue? because it is different issues for different kids. For some kids, they're not falling asleep early enough at night and they need to work at that end. For some kids, I just froze. Did you freeze?
Yeah,
okay.
we glitched for a second. It's 2020. We're going to glitch.
All right. This is the fun part. It's like freeze frame.
Yeah, there's no static anymore. It just glitches.
Yeah. But yeah, so you have to really identify what's going on in the specific situation. I think that's one of our strengths, I think, is that we are small enough that we know each other and we can have those conversations. So, when we figure out what the source of why a kid is sleeping late or why a kid is missing class, then we address that as a big picture issue. So it doesn't repeat. Because yes, usually those things turn into something that's chronic if we don't change the source of the problem. So, that's our whole approach to everything is always going to be, what's the solution? I don't want it to be about, oh, you're going to lose 5 points for being 5 minutes late on your grade for today or anything like that. It's not about that. It's really because the big picture is they need to be in class so that they can learn the material so they can be successful. Like that's the whole point. So so communication, of course, if it becomes something that is chronic, if we call, 3 out of 5 days a week to a family to say, hey, we're missing first period, we're going to have a bigger conversation about that.
So optimism seems good. I mean, I feel like, again, we've had this first start. It's from again, yesterday's teacher meeting. Do you anticipate after that, do you anticipate trouble on the horizon? What do you see as being like, this is going to be a trouble thing coming, or is there any of that?
I actually think there's a surprising feeling of normal. Like this actually does resemble school the way we remember it to some extent. So we can kind of business as usual when it comes to work assignments, curriculum stuff. I think that feels familiar to the kids. They know what the assignments look like. They know what format they're going to be in. It's just a matter of, when you do your math homework, how you get stuff done. So the adjustments, it's great. I think that there is a piece of it that feels like, totally predictable, totally doable. This isn't going to be any trouble. Everyone's like, this is going to be smooth sailing. And then there's like around the edges, there's a couple of things of, how do we make sure that this works, make sure that that works in terms of timing, in terms of scheduling the longer classes, just in terms, like I'm thinking about the English classes, of course, and we want to read a novel. Well, I don't know if we can read a novel for 80 minutes and like be awake at the end, So that's what we're talking about is just kind of the day-to-day of the more kind of the details of how we get through things. But it's still the same type of material that they would be doing if we were in the classroom. And I think that the kids appreciate that. I think the predictability of that, the consistency of that is super important. And that I think makes everyone feel like, we're going to be fine. So no matter what happens with whether we are at home or in the building from here on, that we're going to be okay. And I think that's huge. First and foremost, I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah, that is
very positive. Yeah. But I think too, it's been really smooth this first week. I think that was what the teachers were really saying was surprisingly that it, and hopefully not. I mean, maybe that means we planned enough, maybe that means we really thought about it. We learned a ton from spring semester and some from summer school. It was like, we got a lot of experience under our belts. So this wasn't a huge reset for us. We didn't have to change a lot of things. We had to adapt. And I mean, I'm super optimistic. I really think it's very smooth sailing. Whatever happens, I think we're going to be okay. I'm sure we all hope that things are going to get a lot better and that we're going to have different choices to make. But for now, like, we're good. We're happy. I think, the kids seem to be happy. I think, it feels like a regular school day. So, it feels like work. It feels like we're getting somewhere, and that's important.
It's cool. As a parent, I'm just trying to put my parent hat on. It's so hard because we have different roles. And as a parent of a younger child, that I always feel like I'm not involved enough. And I don't want to say I barge in, but I kind of barge in. I want to get involved, and I kind of get, I suddenly get inquisitive. I haven't been involved, and then I suddenly get inquisitive. And it's really just why I want to know about how her day is going or how her day has been, especially through this digital time of learning, when it's just, it's easy for her to be on her laptop and it's click, and I'm detached because she's doing great. And again, it's fine. But I just, again, kind of, as my new term is shrekking, I shrek my way in her room, and I'm like, hey, how's school going? What do you, and she doesn't have good answers for me because I don't have a good, I guess I don't have good skills. And I guess my question to you, I don't know if you can help me, is as a parent, I want to get involved. Do you have any tips on how I can be involved in that check-in? Not so much in let me help you do your math. I don't want to get involved in that because that'll. But how can I do a check-in without it being so obtrusive that it's feeling like I'm attacking? Because I don't want to feel like I'm saying I don't feel like you've done your work and I'm checking up on your work, because I've never as she was going to her building school, I never did that. But in this, I feel like, well, I've got extra responsibilities because she's in her room learning and I'm not as involved. So I should be more involved. But again, do you have any suggestions or tips on that conversation?
So I almost wonder, maybe the whole notion of it being like a regular school day is you kind of wait till it's over and see what the outcome is, the way you would pick someone up from school, right? And you'd say, hey, how was your day? Or anything happened today that was fun? And maybe to talk through, what do you like about it? What do you not? What are the structural things that are different? But I think you can certainly ask the same questions about material. I mean, if you're interested in, what they're studying in history class or what they're reading in English, like those are all good questions. Then I think, it might help actually to make it a little more real for them, because they'd be talking about it in real life instead of on the computer, because sometimes I think screens very virtual, right? Sure. I wonder if they connect with it the same sort of way. I mean, that's one of the questions that we've always had about like online curriculum materials versus paper, right? So in that sense, I think that some of the regular check-ins that you would do in a normal, in the regular year when you drive to school and pick them up. Yeah. I think those are normal kinds of things, but really to treat it like, well, you went to work today and now you're coming home and this is a transition time. I think that would help a lot actually to break up their day, would be to talk them through some of that transition to like coming back to your life outside of school. Sure. Right? The debrief. And I love the debrief, again, tell me again, what you learned about history. Yeah. That's those are the great bonding times. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then certainly, I don't know, I guess, think about it. Like, what would you normally be asking about? I mean, you don't want to know if did you finish your worksheet today? And no, because again, it's not just a kind of boring conversation. I've already done that. No, it's more the social aspects and some of the weird, eccentricity. No, I can't even say the word now. Eccentricity. No, we're going to get through this. Yes. No, I'm going to have to edit this part out because eccentricities? No. Eccentricities? Eccentricity. No. Exit? With an X? EX? Eccentricities? No, it's an ECC word. ECC, eccentricities. Eccentricities. Yeah, that sounds better. I wish I hadn't said it. No. Well, you have that word, you're like eccentricities, and you're like, nah. Is it also like idiosyncrasies? Is that also? No, that sounds good. That's a nice word. I like the way you said that. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's... Yeah, this is there's so many new things to this. Like, I almost feel like, because I have one in middle school and I'm just like, how you doing? Yeah, I don't know the vocabulary, but again, I wasn't that involved before. It was like, again, I was involved more with the emotional check-ins, not so much the academic check-ins, and I feel like that's kind of, I guess, to make sure that I want to make sure I maintain that relationship, I guess. And I think that's still the most important place for parents to be. I really want parents to trust us to handle the academics. You know, we'll talk to kids who are missing work. We'll talk about extra time that they need to come in and get extra help. You know, we're going to pursue a lot of those things. I think, you know, sometimes as a parent, if you see your kid going, oh my God, I really need, you know, more time with the math teacher, I would hope that you could either encourage them to reach out, you know, and high school is hard because some of them are really good already at asking for help and some of them are still really, really worried about asking for help. So, you know, that's different for every kid. But, you know, if you as a parent notice, you know, there's something that might be helpful, you know, to encourage them to go to the teachers because, you know, sometimes we don't know, sometimes we can't tell, you know, we can offer every day and there are some kids who will never say yes, but if they need it, you know, that's something to, you know, is it a situation where they need to learn to self-advocate more, or is it a situation where you need to say like, oh, this is the time, like red flag, like go ahead and ask.
Yeah, and it's okay to step in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you certainly don't have to reteach them the math chapter.
Thank God. Thank God. Please don't. No, because I know I'm going to make it worse. Because this is not.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's never my thing, and it's not going to be because we don't do it the same way. I had a little list of bullet points. We tapped on them all. Is there anything? Anything else you want to share with parents or students through this? This is fun too. We should have like this kind of
regular.
Yeah, just kind of check in. It's I think it's important. That's what we were trying to do with like that media class is to try to. It's hard. It's so hard when we're not in the building. I get frustrated because I just want to be with everybody and I want to share that big hug and love. And I feel if we can share our faces and share our voices, maybe that shows some of that love. Yeah,
absolutely. And hey, I'm happy to come visit in that group if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're counting on some guests coming in. We've got it's going to be a good time. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I think it's the community connection that is the thing I worry about the most, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I want everyone to still tap into. And I want that to be something that we can find new ways, right? Find new ways to be connected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, new apps, new digital connections. Yeah, and that's going to be one of our conversations in that Friday is to try to find new digital ways to connect. Yeah, through different apps and social things, and whatever we can do to enhance this. Because we're going to get through this.
We are. I think the survival part of it, I'm not worried about.
No. We got that covered. Yeah.
Because I think that this is just the optimal, like really the optimal school situation. For what everyone is looking at doing and what everyone's trying to accomplish. I feel like we're in the best situation possible, and I think it's the relationships, it's the new ways that we find connection in a time when we have to be socially distant.
Yeah.
And that's a bigger picture question, but this is one of the ways that a lot of people have community. And so that kind of is, and maybe that's the adventure of it. That's the fun part.
And I love that about that's weird. It's funny that you say that, the adventure part. I think that's exciting that when we have been doing this so long and we have had so many school years, we've had practice and repetition. And this is something we haven't done this before. And it is fun. It's like a new puzzle we haven't solved yet. And I love a puzzle.
Absolutely.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for sharing all of this. Thanks for sharing all your resources. Thanks for being available for parents. I'll put, of course, your contact info on the bottom of this, but reach out.
You need my new phone number, don't you?
Oh, you've got some digits too. You can text Beth now too. Yeah, that's way cool. Yeah. So again, we're trying to make this, make ourselves accessible as we can. Yep. My mouth is getting tired now. We were supposed to do this interview at 2:00 in the afternoon, and then we had to reschedule for this morning. It's earlier than I would normally be talking this much.
Morning brain. Yes. Mm-hmm. Welcome to Morning Brain.
Yes. And you're normally teaching. You teach English.
Teaching English and art this semester.
Art. And we have a change is coming on English, or are we going to keep that secret?
Change? Oh, no.
Oh!
No, I don't know. We don't have a time frame on that yet. So You know, we're plugging away on the English. We'll be back to that tomorrow. But oh, it's been so much fun. I'm really glad that I got to do that, even if it's just part of the semester, because I love seeing everybody and getting a chance to talk. Because when I didn't, I mean, if I only have the art class, it's only 8 of the kids, and I want to talk to everybody.
Sure.
And so
English.
It's nice to get a chance to.
You get everybody.
And also to make them write things about themselves, and I get to learn more about them. Fun stuff like that. So yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, that is way cool. Yeah, that's a neat time.
We have some really, really great, interesting kids. This is a really fantastic group this year, and yeah, I'm so impressed by all of them. They're great.
Didn't miss a beat, man.
No, I know.
No, it's blowing my mind every day. Yeah. Well, you enjoy your day, Beth. Thanks again for this, and we'll do this again.
Absolutely, I'm game. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for everything. Take care. I'll see you.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Yeah. All right. And we're out.